It's absolutely apptacular. The Subject Cinema Android app. Everything you need to be a rabid Subject Cinema fan. Subject Cinema, 3-Minute Weekend, Tuesday Digidex, and Front Row 5 and 10. All right at your fingertips and available instantly. Plus, email and voicemail links, Facebook and Twitter hookups, Patreon support specials, and more is coming real soon. Don't just listen, app it. The all-in-one Subject Cinema podcast app. Android version available now at Google Play or on PNR Network websites. Amazon and iPhone apps coming soon. Don't delay. Download today.
Blueberry. This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
Needs an enema.
Celebrating a decade of film podcasting. Lasting out of Beantown, USA, you're tuned into Subject Cinema with T.C. Kirkham and Kim Brown.
Directive.
Oh, behave. Yeah.
I volunteer as tribute!
Suppose you run your business and let me run mine. Here's looking at you, kid.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome TC and Kim.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Subject Cinema. I'm T.C. Kirkham. Kim is not in this week. Subject Cinema number 603, day and date, April 1st, 2018. I promise we're not going to have any April Fool's jokes. I'm going to tell you what happened and why we had to cut our masochistic March stuff short. It was interesting because we had last week's show we did right after we got back from what you're going to hear in just a few minutes. And Kim, back in January, decided that we were going to do Star Wars ripoffs for our masochistic March month. Without checking to see if everything we had planned to do was available. We went earlier this week to catch The Man Who Saved the World, which is the movie that we intended to do all along, because it is commonly known in America as the Turkish Star Wars, and we could not find a print with English subtitles. Now, there was a print with Spanish subtitles, but Kim's Spanish is back in high school, and she doesn't remember most of it. I've had 3 or 4 classes. I don't know much Spanish either. So it was not possible. I reached out to Eric, and Eric Lyon at Cavebabble. He couldn't find one either. So we got kind of stuck, and then we didn't really have time to do anything this weekend to get another film watched. So we decided to call it quits at the 4 that we did, and I hope you won't be too disappointed. However, we are not stopping our search, and if someone out there listening to the show knows where we can get a copy of The Man Who Saves the World, or Saved the World, depending on which print you're looking at, and it's either English dubbed or English subtitled, please drop me a line, subjectcinema@PNRNetworks.com. We do intend to do it as soon as we can find it. We just don't have it this week. Now, as for this week's show, I will have some announcements at the end of the show, but the middle part of this week's show is our annual Travelogue. From March 21st to the 25th, we had the wonderful pleasure of staying in Salem, Massachusetts for the 11th annual Salem Film Fest. This is an all-documentary festival. We've been every year since 2012, I believe, except last year when we couldn't get up there. And we set some milestones this time. We actually didn't have any major snowfall while we were there, which has happened 3 out of the other 4 or 5 times we've been there. In fact, the first year we went up, we had a 25-inch snowfall the night before when they said we were going to get 7 or 8 inches, so it was impossible to get around. A few years in the future after that were more snow laden. The fest itself is usually the first weekend in March. They moved it later this week, so it ended up conflicting with 4 other festivals. There were 5 festivals total in the Boston area running that same weekend. And we've been covering all of them. If you haven't seen our coverage, you can go over to eCinemaBoston.com and check out our daily reports on all of them. They're all, for people who are attending them, but we'll have a complete wrap up on all of the festivals as part of our Boston Springs the Festival series in May here on Subject Cinema, and also our annual Boston Springs a Festival super guide, which will have links to every film that showed at every festival and film series between the science fiction sci-fi film festival in mid-February and the end of the Belmont World Film Series, which comes in mid-May. So all of that will be in there anyway. We'll talk more about that later, but if not, I have a few other announcements we're going to be talking about. If you've had trouble getting on the site in the last couple of weeks, I'm having some trouble with our host. We've never had this issue before, and if someone out there can help me determine what's wrong, again, Subject Cinema at PNRNetworks, we keep getting a problem with our CPU seconds usage, which I've never had in almost 15 years of running the blogs on various sites, mostly GoDaddy and WPMU user.com, which is no longer available, unfortunately. We wouldn't have left there if we didn't have to. Our current site, SiteGround, has some kind of charge, and it screwed us up really badly, and it had something to do, I think, with the eCinemaBoston site, because it happened when we first moved over. I took that site down for maintenance, and it stopped. And then I put it back up a couple weeks ago as we prepared to cover the Boston Springs the Festival, and it started happening again. So PNRNetworks.com, which we haven't really set up yet, wasn't really operational, but all of the blogs were. So you should have been able to get in and see all of our, our posts and our shows and otherwise. So anyway, if you know what to do and help me look for it, I think I've got the problem licked, but I'm irritated about it because it's an important part of PNR Boston, and I really, eCinemaBoston, man, I haven't done that for a while. And I want to get it back up, but we got to figure out how to do it. So, if you have some ideas or have some technical knowledge and you're willing to help me out, Subject Cinema at PNRNetworks.com. Now, on to our Travelogue show. These were all recorded in Salem, Mass. Last week as we attended the Salem Film Fest and All Doc Fest, which is just awesome, as I said. We actually saw 8 films. We saw every film we had tickets for this year. The first year we've ever done that. When we've had tickets, we've always blown off 1 or 2 just for reasons unknown. We got to all 8 of them this year, and it was a lot of fun. And so, without further ado, let's hit the road music and head to Salem, Massachusetts, and the Salem Waterfront Hotel, our headquarters for most of last week, and our wonderful road trip to the Salem Film Fest. See you on the other side. Oh, I know I'll have trouble sleeping because these pillows are always a pain in the butt. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We are ensconced in Salem for the Salem Film Fest 2018.
Yes, we are.
All day long, all week long, we've been worried about this Toby.
Yes, Winter Storm Toby, which allegedly was going to come roaring into New England and kick all our asses and pound us into snowy submission for the 4th time in
2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, originally it was supposed to be 10 to 12 inches.
Ed Tuesday.
And then 6 to 12 inches or 3 to 6 inches depending on where you were. But Boston area got hooked up in this little high pressure area. And now Channel 7's Jeremy Renner is now saying we're going to get less than 2 inches out of this storm.
Yeah.
Which is really well and good for us.
Yep.
It means we won't have to be traipsing through hip-deep snow to get to the festival. But It's like, oh my gosh, are you serious? All these precautions. And
all these precautions
and canceled and
cancellations.
Several of the film festivals, part of Boston Springs the Festival, rescheduled today because of the snowstorm that never happened.
Well, it could still, you know what they have.
Yeah, we could wake up and there'll be 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, I know. See, that's the thing. They can say, oh, well, it changed course. We're only going to get 2 inches of snow. And then it could change course again, and we'll get 10.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So here we are, our lovely room in Salem. We've actually had this suite before.
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 years ago, I forget which, was the year I had to come up by myself. So that would have been 2 years ago? No, 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
And
it's very nice and comfy.
Oh yes, it is. It always is. We get the suites because they have a really good deal, and that way we have a separate bedroom. I can do my stuff in the morning. Kim can sleep in because we usually, except for Saturday when we have to be up there at noon.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the time I can do stuff in the morning because we won't have to be there until I think 3 on Friday, and tomorrow is 8.
Mm-hmm.
So
we had an amazing dinner at Finn's restaurant.
If you're in Salem, Massachusetts anytime, it is becoming a food mecca.
Mm-hmm.
They are really, really pumping out the good places up here. And Finn's is just amazing. They're right on the waterfront. They have the most amazing seafood ever.
Yeah.
And
you had clam chowder.
I had what I think quite possibly was the best bowl of clam chowder I have ever eaten. I don't know why, other than the fact that it was full of clams. Every spoonful had like 3 clams in it.
Mm-hmm. And it looked really good. It wasn't watery at all. It was thick and
milky.
creamy
There was
looking.
something in it that tasted like sherry, and something else that was kind of spicy. And it was freaking delicious. And then, of course, Lobster Mac and Cheese, which is my steady thing at Finn's.
And we shared an appetizer of spicy crispy shrimp, which was just Asian crispy shrimp, which was
they're really good. And they're not really crispy shrimp.
Well, there's a nice light crispy coating on them.
There's a light batter, but it's not really a batter. And there's wonderful,
it's the sauce they have
but
in it.
not overpoweringly hot Thai sauce on them. They're really good.
So good. I had their wedge.
Baked haddock.
I had their blue wedge salad.
Or fried haddock, sorry.
Yeah, fried haddock and fries. So good.
Their
coleslaw is delicious, but they have some kind of pepper.
There's a pepper flakes or something
on their coleslaw,
it's like, and you eat it burns your mouth up.
It's
delicious, though.
The coleslaw tasted amazing. I was like, oh, this coleslaw is so good. Oh my gosh, my sinuses are opening up. My nose is flooding, snot all over the place.
Don't be so melodramatic. Gross.
Sorry.
Really?
But
what
was
that thing you had for dessert? The chocolate chip pie?
Mm-hmm.
And I had creme brulee, and the creme brulee was good, except it was a little warm, which is unusual for creme brulee. And the glaze on top was so thick you could hardly chew it.
Oh.
I had to let it dissolve in my mouth. It was weird.
Well, that might be the way they do it.
I don't remember it being that way before.
The
but
chocolate chip pie. Oh gosh. Oh, the chocolate chip pie. Oh boy.
It was very similar to something I used to get out in Ohio called Toll House pie.
It was warm, squishy chocolate, and it was so good. I really think if someone tried to take it away from me, I would have bitten them. It was.
You gave me a bite.
Well, I gave you a bite because I am a magnanimous and giving person.
You are. So over the course of the next 3 days, we're going to be seeing 8 films, ideally. 1 tomorrow, 3 on Friday, and 4 on Saturday. We'll see.
And in between, we'll be traipsing all over Salem, hopefully, if the weather holds up.
Tomorrow, I don't think we'll, and Friday, but Saturday we won't have the time, because Saturday starts at noon, and we don't get done until like 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
So, I've scheduled this like a 2-hour window for dinner. That's about it on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that we're going to miss one of the movies I really wanted to see. Because it's on Sunday. It's called Ramen Heads. I was talking about it. But it actually comes out Friday, so it should be on demand within a week or so. Hopefully we'll get to see it, because I really want to see that. We'll have reviews. Of course, I'm also up here. I'm doing Boston Springs, a festival posts on eCinemaBoston, because 5 festivals are running this weekend, including Salem. And it's just a bitch. But, what are you going to do?
Yeah, well.
So we're very full.
We're exceedingly full.
It didn't take us too long to get up here. We came in this really kind of roundabout way to miss the traffic, and it was actually almost $10 cheaper than last year.
Yeah.
Coming up.
And we didn't have to deal with the traffic.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about this room is we have no view. I've never liked this room because all you see is the back of the buildings at Hickory Wharf.
Yeah.
At least the other way you can see up the street. So, I mean, you can see Pyramid Books in the bunghole from here.
Yes.
The bunghole is a liquor store.
I was going to say, could you please explain what that is so we don't get letters?
The bunghole is a liquor store, small, tiny. I mean, it's tinier than this room. I've been in there once, and it's so tiny. It's only from this wall to the edge of the TV, and it's as long, and that's it. It's a tiny little place.
It's a literal hole in the wall.
Yeah.
A literal hole in the wall.
Which might be why they called it the bunghole, because it's about the same size.
Or because people go, we're going to the bunghole. It's...
We've been exploring through some of the stuff here in Salem that have opened in the 2 years since we were here. We didn't get to come up last year. The Flatbread Pizza Company down the street. It sounds really good, but they're all earthy, crunchy, organic on everything. And they do have four lanes for candlepin bowling.
Yeah.
Which I don't think either one of us could possibly
No, I know. I have this awful feeling if we tried, it would be like, oh, that was fun. And then 2 hours later, we'd be like, I can't move.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that this year.
And then there's another place called Bit Bar. BITBAR, which is a combo restaurant, bar, and arcade.
Yes, they actually have video games.
Classic arcade games.
That
but
you
the
can
food
play for
is so fo-fo-shish.
I don't want to go for the games. Screw the food. I want to...
Yeah,
for video games, you can play for...
We don't have to have food, dear. We can just go to the arcade.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I mean. Video games that you can play for a quarter.
Yeah, all the video games are a quarter, and the pinballs are a quarter to $1, depending on what they were set up for. That's like, wow.
Can't remember the last time I played a video game that was a quarter.
It was way back when you were a little girl.
I think it was like back when Reagan was still president, maybe.
That's what I mean.
So we're just hanging out in the room now. We're both in danger of sliding into food comas.
Yeah,
so.
I had to walk down to Speedway to get soda because there was no soda machine in this hotel.
Or you don't know where it is.
No, I went to two. And to get to the ice machine and where they said it was, because the one we have is the suite we have right against our left wall in our bedroom suite is where the little room is, and it's empty now. It says go to the second floor for ice, and I go down there and there's a stat machine and an ice machine, but there's no soda machine. 4 has a soda machine. I know that, at least they used to, but. Because we were up in from the 4th floor once or twice too, so.
Yeah.
In any case, we will have a full rundown of all of our usual dippy activities and who knows what else.
And if you're in Salem and you happen to see us, walk up and say, hey.
Well, they won't hear this till about 2 weeks after we do it.
Oh, well, yeah.
Unfortunately, because I was going to try and post it, and I thought, on this piece of crap laptop, I won't even be able to move it. And I was right. I tried to do something earlier, and it wouldn't let me. So you'll have to wait for the after-the-fact report, unfortunately.
But if you're in Salem anyway, you should just try and look for us and say, hey.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think so, too, because you're falling asleep.
I am not. I'm
just... That's TC.
And Cam.
Signing off for now.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
It is Thursday.
It is.
March 22nd. And boy, has it been a crappy morning.
Well, it could have been worse.
Yeah, we didn't get the big storm that they said we would. It just got a little bit of snow.
Yeah, we got snow and we got rain and possibly sleet.
No, it was just rain. I think. I don't know.
Well, it really did look like it was raining like bananas snowing like bananas for a little while when we were having...
Are there rain and snow into like bananas? I've never heard of that
I'm
before.
just saying it was really snowing really hard for a little bit.
All right.
And when we were having breakfast in the Regatta Pub, which is attached to the Salem Waterfront Hotel. Great place for breakfast.
Big mistake, though. We were both so dopey. It's not bad enough last night you were in bed at 5 minutes of 9.
Yeah, I was...
Right after we finished recording.
Yeah, I know. I was super tired and for some reason. And
because we both had that nice big meal at Finn's.
Yeah, but that usually doesn't make me that tired. I think I was stressed. And it was just, the whole getting going on the trip and stuff like that, I always get very nervous and stuff. And they kept saying, like, oh, we're going to get this huge snowstorm and it's going to be catastrophic and da-da-da-da.
By the time I went to bed, when I went to bed a little bit after, right before 11, they decided we weren't going to get anything but maybe an inch or two of snow. And it didn't even turn out to be that much. The streets are already clear and the sidewalks are already melted and the rain's got washed most of it away. So there wasn't terribly a lot there. But
no. So, like I said, we got up and just kind of digged around up in our room, our very comfortable room.
a little sweet.
Then went for breakfast. You had your usual Western omelet, which you happen to really enjoy.
I love the way they make them here, and it comes with home fries and toast. And normally I would have gotten an orange juice, but I started having a bad reaction to orange juice about a month ago, so I've not.
Well, I think you should be able to have one every once in a while. Maybe you can have one tomorrow.
I don't want to spend the day in the bathroom.
Well, no, I know. Thank you. Ew.
I got really dopey working on the stuff that I'd have to do for the festivals around here, because I mean, right now, you know, we're in Salem, but there's 4 other festivals going on all the same weekend, so I'm trying to get all the synopsises
Don't look at me.
Synopsises done every day, and I didn't wake up until after 7 this morning. Usually I'm up about 5:15.
Yeah.
And so I was way behind. I only got the one up a little bit ago, and I had to come in and make a correction on one of them. I didn't put what I was going to put on the underground about the big... the huge Twitter reaction at their opening night film, My Name is Maisha God, which also was a huge hit at Slam Dance this year. I went over to Pickering Wharf, which is right next to the hotel. The hotel is actually part of Pickering Wharf, and it's this little touristy shopping area.
It's touristy, but it doesn't feel touristy. It's never really felt touristy to me. I mean, there's lots of cool little eclectic stores.
There were. Yeah, I went over there, and it's about 40% empty now, I'd say.
Well, you also have to figure we're here at a time when it's not tourist season.
It wasn't that empty last year. Most of the buildings were in there, or 2 years ago. A lot of the familiar shops have closed, and they've already torn down Victoria Station, which closed last year.
Yeah.
Which was the last remaining Victoria Station. It closed in November, and they tore it down. There's a big empty spot where it used to be sitting.
Yeah.
Next to the sea level place. It's just very depressing because you go over there and it used to be vibrant and fun, and especially in the summertime, it's vibrant and fun. People walking all over the place.
Yeah,
it's
lots
very busy.
of eclectic little stores and things like that.
It's just kind of in the dead of winter with the snowfall going on. The little shops that are there are open, but there was not much else, and I didn't actually go in any place. I do want to go over to Salem Spice, which is this new spice and tea place that opened. See if we can find anything. And there's a couple of shops over there. I want to get a Salem sweatshirt when we're up here this year, so that's probably the best place to get it. Would be somewhere on Pickering Wharf, because I don't think downtown has a few shops, but they probably won't have my size.
Well, there's definitely that one. Yeah, I was gonna say there's that one place that sells all T-shirts and stuff over in the East India Mall, but I don't know if they...
Yeah, there's T-shirts, though. I don't really think they have much.
I don't know if they have anything sweatshirt-wise.
Or my size. I like to get, super large shirts. So, because I like to have, the bulky room.
Yeah, you like to have room, yeah.
I like to be roomy and be able to, have a wing underneath my arm.
No, I know. Well, anyway, I, for breakfast, had bacon and pancakes, chocolate chip pancakes, which were amazing and
which
good.
You ate most of, surprisingly, because I didn't think you'd even get halfway through them. There's so much there.
Yeah, I know, but they're one of those things, once you start, you can't quit. And then we just, we've been hanging out up in the room and just kind of relaxing and stuff, like TC said.
We didn't really have... I wanted to go a few places this morning, but the weather's just been too crappy, and so maybe we can try to get there tomorrow before everything starts, except our movies start earlier tomorrow at 3, and today is opening day, so we're not going to the soiree at the Old Town Hall, because we went last time and it was like everybody there seems to know everybody.
Yeah.
So we kind of stuck out like a sore thumb and nobody really wanted to talk to us.
Yeah, so. That and there's stairs.
And there's stairs,
There's stairs, and Stairs and I are not. Stairs and both of us are not.
You know how Poe reacts to Stairs in Kung Fu Panda? That's both of us.
That's us.
Now.
Yeah. Stairs.
It's kind of crazy. But this year they're doing more. They have a few video exhibitions and an art exhibition from one of the local filmmakers, and I'm like, damn, I really don't want to go because it's just going to be blah. So we don't have to be at the cinema until 8 o'clock tonight, which is opening night. Minding the Gap is the film, which was a big hit, won an award for breakthrough filmmaking for the director, who is the movie is about 3 skateboarders and their relationships with their families and their careers. Yep. And one of the skateboarders is actually also the director of the film, so it should be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely for you, since you're definitely extreme sports.
It got rave reviews at Sundance, and I'm really, I know that's not necessarily a good thing. See the future and the loneliest planet.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can't help.
And to an extent, Like Crazy. Mm-hmm.
Well, Like Crazy was a good, don't be nasty to Like Crazy. It wasn't a bad film. It just wasn't all as good as it was hyped up to be.
We just couldn't figure out why everybody lost their minds.
Why it won every award at Sundance. So.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I don't diss movies that have Anton in them. I just don't do that. So, not anymore. So that's the agenda. I don't know what we're going to do for sure for dinner, but I'm sure we'll talk about it when we get back tonight.
Yep.
And right now, Kim is tooling around on the computer. Their Wi-Fi sucks. We're using my hotspot because it's much easier to get on than the Wi-Fi, which was just deadly slow. So
it's just a little hanging about.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get out and do a few things here before we actually go to the cinema. Because I don't know. Well, you want to wait till tomorrow for the batteries, right?
Yeah, you said that would be a better idea.
Yeah, so
I agree with you. So.
We'll see what happens, and we'll talk to you later tonight.
Yep.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Greetings.
Hi.
I feel bad we didn't record last night. It's March 23rd.
Yep.
2018, and we are day 3 here in Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Day 2 of the Salem Film Fest. Last night was a great deal of fun.
Yes, it was.
Opening night film was a magnificent piece of work called Minding the Gap from filmmaker Bing Liu. Ostensibly about skateboarders and how skate helped them deal with life, but really it's more about life and how skateboarding helps them cope
with their lives. It looks at the relationship between parent and child, where the line blurs between disciplining your child and flat-out child abuse.
It was a really good film.
It was really amazing.
And we'll have a full review up sometime. I was disappointed with the crowd. I think the skateboarding theme scared a lot of the oldsters away. It was only about half full.
Maybe.
And I just normally every time we've been to opening night, it has been packed.
Yeah.
So this is like...
Well, maybe a lot of people also got scared off by the storm that we didn't get.
Storm? What storm?
Yeah, and that's my point.
We got a whole dusting.
Yep.
But it was really great, and hopefully they'll continue. We have 3 films to see today and 4 tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We had dinner last night at Village Tavern.
Yes.
Which is right there at the mall. And
delicious
really
as always.
Food. Well, I wasn't impressed with the pulled pork. It was too vinegary for me. I don't like it when it's that vinegary.
I had a burger. It was delicious.
Yeah, it was good. We didn't really do much else yesterday.
No.
Today we had breakfast downstairs, of course, and I went over to Pickering Wharf, which is a little bit more life to it. We went yesterday afternoon, and there wasn't really much there, and every place that was supposed to be open had already closed.
Yeah.
Probably because nobody was out because of the storm, Dr. Evil quotes. But it was... I went in a couple of the shops I wanted to go into, and they were interesting. You made out like a bandit at Pyramid yesterday.
I did. I got a beautiful new ring. I found a lovely carnelian stone, and I found a nice book on gems and rocks and like crystals and things like that. I love Pyramid anyway. When it's not crowded, that place is incredible.
Pyramid's rarely crowded.
Well,
except during October.
Yeah.
When it's like move out of the way or you're going to knock everything over.
Yeah.
Pyramid Books specializes in New Age stuff, which is a good way to say it's a crystal and rock store.
Yeah, but they also have other things for people who are into, New Age stuff.
There's three different stores at Pickering Wharf that deal with magic supplies and stuff for the local witches here in Salem.
The local Wiccan community.
They still do make Salem their home. So.
Yeah. Which the irony of which never fails to amaze and amuse me, to be perfectly honest.
I think that's why it is.
Yeah.
So today we're seeing 3 films. We're going to the Visitor Center for the first time, and then the other 2 are at PBD Essex Museum. We're not even going to go near Cinema Salem today. Several other films are showing at the Cabot in Beverly today, which is the first time they've expanded beyond Salem's borders. Plus there's a whole bunch of other festivals going on, as we said yesterday, around town that we're missing. Because Salem decided to move 3 weeks later. Would have been better if they had it the first weekend. Although it would have been before the first nor'easter and we would have been able to get around.
Yeah, but...
I mean, not that it's bad now, but it's...
No, it's actually pretty nice out.
Yeah, it is nice.
Things, yeah.
Sun's out. People are out. It's been a very nice day. And hopefully the films will be good. We're going to see. I don't remember what is showing today. I think most of these were your picks today.
Probably.
Since we kind of evenly spaced it out.
Yep.
So we will be back when we get in tonight, hopefully, if we're not too dead tired. I feel bad for not recording last night because I went to bed. You stayed up for a while.
I had to stay up for a little bit because I just needed to think
about the movie.
Yeah. I just needed to process it. It's a very beautiful film. It's a very moving film, but for some people it might be very hard to watch.
Yeah, it's a very big trigger for some people.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's going to get a theatrical release, but it will definitely be on POV on PBS later this year. So So
that'll be cool.
You'll get to see it then, and just like Rich Hill a couple years ago, which was another marvelous film that was overlooked by most of the public.
Yeah.
And it was it's going to be fun to see again. If you can, I don't know if you can call it enjoyable either. It's a great film to watch. It's going to be hard to take.
Well, there are some fun parts. There are some and there's parts of kids just.
The skateboarding footage is awesome.
Yeah, the skateboarding footage really sucked you in from the go.
This one, Bang Liu won the Breakthrough Filmmaker Award at Sundance this year with this film, and he'd never put together a film before. He's not a filmmaker by trade. He's not been to film school. And he did a marvelous job.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
He really did. It's really, really something special.
So we'll see you later tonight, and hopefully have lots of great movies to talk about.
Yep.
Bye.
But,
Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys.
It is the evening of Friday, March 23rd. And man, have we had a busy day.
Busy day. And tomorrow's going to be super duper insanely busy day, but
yeah. Tomorrow we have 4 films.
Yes. Today we
had 3.
And shove pizza in our face in between them.
Yeah. We're at the Salem Film Fest, as you know, Salem, Massachusetts. This is an all-documentary fest.
Yep.
I did do a little shopping before we went. I didn't actually buy anything, but I did go over to a Pickering Wharf where I wanted to go yesterday, as I said. And then they were open and busy, and it was sunny and nice, and everybody was out. And it's so nice to be in Salem when it's like that, because you see people and you hear people enjoying themselves. Salem is a great tourist town.
Yeah.
And so that was fun. Although the stupid hotel, you can't find soda. I had to go down the street. They have no soda machines in this place.
Oh.
They don't even have an ice machine on this floor. You have to go up and down to other floors.
I mean, Salem is a wonderful place. at Halloween time. It's a wonderful place all the time. It's especially wonderful at Halloween time, but it's crowded.
Halloween is nuts because on Halloween night, upwards of 800,000 people are here. And they've documented that. So, kind of crazy.
Yeah. So we had 3 movies to see today. And we were kind of all over the place. Yeah. The first film that we saw was, I should say.
Kim had an episode, and rightfully so.
I did. Kim had a bit of a freak out moment. As Kim has mentioned more than once, Kim is not a pretty crier. The first movie we saw was The War in Between, which is a documentary about a program to help soldiers dealing with PTSD, and the way that they're being helped is by working on this compound and dealing with PTSD by helping the animals that are on the compound, most of whom are wolves. And
who also have PTSD.
Who also have PTSD because they have been abused by human beings because human beings are assholes.
Yeah. Wow, this one was hard-hitting.
It was really hard-hitting. It was beautiful in some places. It was very hard-hitting and extremely infuriating in other places.
Yeah.
And I held on till the end.
You did.
And then some words flashed on the screen, and I just started bawling and couldn't stop no matter how. And
the statistic was 98% of the natural indigenous population of wolves have been decimated in North America.
In the United States. I don't know about that's not
I'm sorry, I can't believe that we're down to 2%.
And also
wouldn't be on the endangered species.
And also that 23 veterans commit suicide every day.
Yeah.
That's over 100 people a week.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I mean, that's sickening.
We'll have information on this organization. Mm-hmm. I want to find a way to donate to this and help them do this.
I just started to cry, and then I started to sob, and then
you actually had one of the people come up to you and tap you on the shoulder as you were going by. Obviously, they were meeting with you.
All of a sudden,
and I was having trouble too. So.
I'm just sitting there. Other people are filing by us. I'm not like wailing like I've done before.
No,
according to certain people who insist that sometimes.
Honey, you scared small children at March of the Penguins. It's a known fact.
Fine. Can I help it if I'm friggin' sensitive?
Mm.
So that we're sitting there and I'm just sobbing, and all of a sudden I felt this very nice pat on my shoulder.
Little old lady.
Was it?
Yeah.
I couldn't see who it was because they were gone in a flash, and I was like, that really made me feel better. Because I'm sitting there crying like a complete dope, and
We have to say that this was the first time we've been to the Salem Visitor Center.
Yeah.
The full title of which is the National Park Service Salem Armory Visitor Center.
Yeah.
And it is really nice. We've never
really
been in there.
nifty.
It's right there. We've never seen a film there, and it is huge. I figured it would be just like one of these things with benches that wouldn't have that much space, and they had this really nice auditorium, and it's like, wow. In a federal visitor center?
Yeah.
They had a great gift shop. I want to go back tomorrow because the gift shop was closed by the time we got done with the theater. Unfortunately, but I'm still trying to find a good Salem shirt. And I couldn't believe they still sell all the replicas they have of the original founding documents. This is going to sound really crazy, but when I was a kid, we're talking 5th grade, I think, here. Mm-hmm. We went to the Zane Grey Museum in Zanesville, Ohio, and we'd never been there. We did this whole trip, my mom and stepdad and I did this whole trip around Ohio once, and we went to historic places. We went to Schoenbrunn Village in New Philadelphia. We went to Werther Museum in New Philadelphia. We went to Roscoe Village in Coshocton, and we went to the Zane Grey Museum in Zanesville. And Flint Ridge also had them, which we went to all the time because it was close to where we lived. Flint Ridge National Park. And it's like our state park. They have these parchment made of fake parchment, copies of like all the original founding documents, and I used to have one with old money in it. And I didn't even realize they still made those. And I'm like, oh my God, they sell I haven't seen these in ages. So it was kind of neat, and I may end up picking up a few of those just for nostalgia's sake. We'll just have to wait and see. But I definitely want to go to the visitor center tomorrow and check the gift shop there.
Mm-hmm. After that, we saw...
Kim's too busy tweeting to comment.
Yeah, after that, we saw a film called The Next Guardian.
That was really interesting.
It was.
I want to say something up front. All three of the films we saw today were Kim's picks.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, every single film we picked was a winner, I thought.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a difference of opinion on the third one, but it's
yeah.
The Next Guardian really surprised me because it's about this small family-run monastery in Bhutan.
Yeah.
And it was the father wanting the son, the teenage son, to go follow in his footsteps. And it was a really interesting little look into this family. What did you? You were starting to say. What were you starting to say? Will you stop tweeting while we're recording? Honestly.
No. I'm just.
You're obsessed with tweeting. Anyway.
What I was thinking was, I'm so glad I live in America.
The father is a really sweet man. He obviously
nice
believes deeply in the Buddhist philosophies and was...
He's a very good person when it comes to his son. It's not that he's a bad person when it comes to his daughter, but...
His daughter acts like a boy, and she looks like she has her hair cut like a boy. It makes me think that if she was in America, she'd be a transgender.
Yeah.
Or would be interested in doing the transition, because she definitely is interested in male things.
Or she's a lesbian. I'm not sure how they do.
I don't think so. The way she was talking about girlfriends for her brother, I don't think that would come out.
Well, I don't know.
But it was a very interesting. They were best friends.
My whole thing was that the father just seemed to be like, well, that she was kind of a write-off, and that kind of attitude.
It didn't help that she was wanting to be on the national girls soccer team.
Yeah,
and she choked badly when they were making the cuts.
Yeah,
and she choked badly and didn't make the team, and she was very disappointed.
And the thing is, the father wants to push the son to become a monk.
Yeah. To take over for him, because
although he obviously isn't a monk. He's got a wife and kids.
No, they said that you can. No, as long as you don't take the vow of celibacy, you can get married. They explained that.
I don't see how you can still be a monk, but whatever.
You don't have to take that vow. It's a choice.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know very much about that faith, and
I don't either, or that particular way it's run.
Yeah,
but he was insistent on the son becoming a monk, and the son was more interested.
So insistent.
Oh yeah, the son was more interested in soccer than anything,
girls.
And music, and he was just. But he was very, he's like, of course, if you want me to do that, I'll do that.
Yeah, if you want me to do that. And the father's all like, oh, you don't have to do it because I want you to do it, but if you don't do it, our lives will be ruined.
We'll have bad karma come upon us. And
the government can take
our home away.
Our relatives can take our home away.
And the bad thing is, by the end of the movie, the father sounded like he was trying to brainwash the kid, because he never shut up.
No.
It was constant droning, and the kid's just sitting there going, I understand we are not all one world, but this was just painful.
Well,
and we never got a resolution. That was the thing that made me mad. We never got a resolution. It just ended.
Yeah.
Without telling us whether he decided to go on his own way, or whether he decided to go what his father wanted to do.
Or if he ran away from home after he just couldn't take it anymore.
He went up while they climbed up that hill. Who knows what they did?
Yeah.
That rock wall.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if that's supposed to leave us with the idea that they decided not to do what their father wanted, or what.
It's like pretty much every religion around the world, every faith around the world. You have Italian, I shouldn't say it this way, I'm sorry. But, you have Italian mothers that push their sons to be priests or their daughters to be nuns.
And I think that's just because they don't want to deal with the fact that they'd have to have an in-law they'd have to get used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
especially in the son's case.
No, I'd say more in the son's case, it's a status thing. It's a status thing in certain areas.
Hey.
To have it is. In certain, at least it used to be.
I don't know.
You know, in Italian and Irish, you know, families and stuff like that. That's your phone.
Okay.
It's a stat. It was there was at one point. Back me up on this. Anybody out there? Talking about. It was kind of a status symbol to have a member of your family in the clergy.
Okay.
You know.
If you say so.
Well.
I'm not a Catholic.
You're not
I don't
Catholic,
know.
So
I don't
you don't
know.
get it.
I don't. Okay.
Heathen.
The third film we saw was Mr. Fish, cartooning from the deep end.
Deep end, yes.
All yours.
Pardon me?
All yours.
Why?
Talk about it, because these were all your films. I was a little bit reticent about this one because I tend to be in the middle of the road politically.
I tend to be off on the side of the road selling snow cones.
Well, okay, me too, but I mean, I do have certain values that I cherish, and
yeah, so do I.
I had a feeling this was going to be trash on those values, and it wasn't.
You weren't wrong.
No, I don't think it was. I think he has a lot of interesting points.
The gentleman that calls himself Mr. Fish, that is his cartoonist name, and we shall use that. Simply because that's what he uses, and out of respect for the writer, we shall keep it at set.
Well, he's quite open about his real name. It just doesn't have very.
It doesn't lend itself.
No, it doesn't.
You know.
Mr. Fish is much better.
He is a cartoonist. He does mostly political cartoons. Well, no, actually, he does mostly
satire cartoons of all different types.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
This is not stuff that's going to.
Kim had some big problems with this one because of some of the stuff he did. I think Mr. Fish. I expected to hate the guy, and I found myself thinking, this guy is going to be once this film comes out, it'll get noticed by Hollywood. They're going to make a biopic of him starring Kevin Bacon, who he looks incredibly like, and then he's going to be a household name. I'm like, okay, this ought to be funny.
He'll definitely be Sorry, I'm kind of tired.
Yeah, it's almost 11 o'clock. Yeah.
He'll definitely be the darlings of certain people.
Yeah.
Infer from that what you want. But although I do have to say that unlike other cartoonists, you know, who only go after one side and it's just constant attack.
Right.
He's of the opinion that the system is broken on everybody's side.
Yeah. And that not just politics, it also includes religion, it includes society in general, the way they look at the military, the drugs, the wars, everything. Everything is open game to him.
Yeah.
That's what set us off there. He made a number of cartoons that we both found a little bit offensive because they were about Jesus Christ. So...
Which is his right.
Yeah, it is.
It is his right.
It's our right to be offended, though.
Yeah, it's his right to draw that. It's my right to say, wow, that's really mean.
Although I have to be honest, as a Christian, I did find one of them funny. There was a depiction of Christ learning to be a carpenter as a child, and he had nailed his hand into the drawer he was building. I'm sorry. I know that's offensive. It's also funny as hell.
I'm glad you thought so.
I did. I'm sorry.
I mean,
sorry, Lord.
I am definitely not a prude by any stretch of
Oh, to call yourself a prude would be so wrong. You are everything. I mean, she's everything but a prude, except when it comes to religious stuff.
I am not a prude about religious stuff.
You're not a prude, but you're very puritanical.
I will get very quiet. I get quiet. No.
Kim and I have this, we have been together for 25 years.
Yay.
And we have this ability to vibe in on each other.
Yes.
Particularly when we're sitting right next to her. And from 2 minutes into this film, she was seething. And I was, the only relief I got from it was when she left to use the restroom for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, so the rest of the time it was kind of like he was sitting there with his hands in hibachi. It was that kind of searing.
It was the end of Sita Sings the Blues again.
Oh. I don't think no. I'm gonna call you out on that one. It was not that, because I was quiet during this movie. Sita Sings the Blues. I was sitting there every 5 minutes going.
Yeah, you're doing it. Oh, no,
and the head thing started, and he's sitting there going, oh shoot. He was sitting there going, if I say anything to her, she's going to tear my throat out with her teeth.
Yeah.
And the first guy that looks at her cross-eyed, she's going to punch him in the nuts.
Yep.
But the thing is about this film is the fact that, like I said, he has a right to draw those cartoons.
Yeah.
I have a right to be like, wow, dude, that's really mean.
Yep.
Now, me saying that, do I have a right to say that's offensive, take it down? No, I don't.
No.
I absolutely don't. The person standing next to me might find that hilarious, especially if the person is you. But
I didn't find any of the other ones hilarious.
No.
I found the one where it depicted Christ and Freddie Mercury in bed together was very offensive to both Freddie and Christ.
Yeah. And
I don't know where that came from either.
Yeah. But it was just like I said. I mean, when it comes to that kind of stuff, art, well, his whole thing is art should be used to inflame people's passions and stuff like that.
Mr. Fish is the true definition of an anarchist. But not in the weapons way. He uses his pen and pencil as his weapon. Mm-hmm. But in his art, it is subversive. The underground crowd, Boston underground crowd, would love Mr. Fish. Don't you think? And this crowd loved Mr. Fish. This was the biggest crowd we've seen so far this year at Salem. And he was popular with them. He had his whole family with him, too. They were also in the film.
Yeah. I guess the one thing that that I found so ironic, and not ironic in a hipster way, if that ever happens, please slap me. But
no.
The thing that I found so ironic is the fact that he does feel like the system is broken and the politics are terrible and we're all being run by conglomerates and this, that, and the other thing, and isn't America broken and don't we all suck? And the thing that I found so ironic about that is that you live in a country where you can say that. Mm-hmm. Try saying that in Russia and see what happens.
Well, I also
try saying that in several countries in South America and see what happens.
I also found it very interesting that he himself is at war with himself.
I just find that ironic.
He's very at war with himself because he does not believe that he should need to make money to do this. And, I mean, he does. I mean, he got paid for what he used to do for the various political magazines and websites. Mm-hmm. But his wife, a beautiful and friendly lady.
And patient.
So patient. And still very much in love with each other, and you can see that all the way through the film.
He very much loves his wife and children.
Yeah. He's a great dad. I mean, his girls are picking up his subversive attitudes, which I think is funny as hell. But through it all, his wife finally at the partway through, because it took 4 years of filming to do this, told him, you got to get a bread and butter job, not just these things. At the time, he was working on a animation project with Bento Box, the people who are behind Glove and Boots, called Huck. And they unfortunately shelved it. Yeah. He would have made a lot of money with that.
He would have.
And what they showed was offensive and funny as hell. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, why didn't Bento Box go for this all the way? Why did they shelve it? I mean, they don't do really anything with Glove and Boots other than distribute it. Glove and Boots makes their own stuff. when they can afford it. But Bento Box is becoming one of the big animation companies in Hollywood because of the stuff that they do.
I think,
and I feel it's strange that they should have done that with him.
His whole thing to me is the fact that, he had to, how do I put this? He had to draw, but not what he wanted to draw.
Mm-hmm.
He had to draw for the establishment.
Right, and that drove him crazy.
Capital T, capital E.
Yeah, that makes him crazy.
Yeah, it does make him crazy.
And his wife points that out to him quite a bit. But his political cartoons and even his social commentary cartoons, a lot of them are really brilliant.
They are.
I would love to have a copy of one of the most offensive things he probably had at his installation in Los Angeles was I'm gonna screw up. This is probably the wrong title. I can't remember how he put it, but basically it was 5 or 6 people written as kike and Jew and a couple of other things surrounded by, and it's set up to look like a neighborhood, but then when you look at it, it's actually the individual word written out, surrounded by like 256,000 black people, and he's got the N-word written all these times, and right in the one area he's got Jew, kike, and other things written. And I'm like, oh my God, that's really funny and really offensive and really subversive. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And you didn't see that because you were in the ladies' room, but it was a really funny bit, and I just thought the way they set it up, because of the way he drew it, it really truly looked like a neighborhood from a distance. And then you get up close, it's an amazing piece of artwork. And I mean, it was probably, though that installation was weird anyway, because he did a lot of artwork with famous rock stars depicted as women, naked women. Bob Dylan, Mick Jagger, Graham Nash, a number of other ones. And I love the little old lady that was talking to him, and they were looking at the Mick Jagger one, and she says, I find that kind of cute, but that's probably because I'm a little old lady too. I mean, she clearly knew who he was. And it was really funny. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Fish is quite an interesting movie. He's an interesting man. And it's not for everyone. It's going to offend a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as a movie that's going to get a lot of discussions started, I think that's a good thing. You obviously did not like it as well as I did, so.
No, I found it.
I would probably give it a B+, and you would give it a B-, you said.
I found it very thought-provoking, so.
Tomorrow we have 4 films. We saw those last 2 at the Peabody Essex Museum.
Yes, which we've been to.
Unfortunately, the Peabody Essex Museum was closed, so we couldn't go in the gift shop. The little sandwich place was closed. And so basically they had guards like watching you, making sure you didn't go anywhere but the seating area and the bathroom between movies. But it's a nice, beautiful venue, the Morse Auditorium. And it's a beautiful venue. We also had dinner at Essex New York Pizza at the Witch City Mall / Museum Place Mall, where we've been before. We've talked about that. And it's not the greatest pizza in the world, but it's certainly serviceable. I liked it. I mean, it's not like upper crust or one of those places, but it's definitely serviceable and delicious, and the help was nice, and although there was some old guy having a coughing fit, and he kept going into the corner looking out the window to have his coffee fit, and he'd go back and try to eat some more, and then he'd go back and cough some more. It was a little unnerving to everybody in the place. They kept looking at him. It was kind of funny, but it was a good meal. You had a cheese pizza, and I had mushroom pizza, because it's Friday during Lent, and you can't eat meat, so.
But that was fine.
Yeah. Tomorrow we have 4 films to see. We'll be at all 3 venues tomorrow. One of our films is at the Visitor Center, another is at Salem, Peabody Essex, and the other 2 are at Cinema Salem. And I think, or maybe 2 of them are at PEM, and one of them is at Cinema Salem. But it's going to be interesting because we actually had one conflict on the Saturday when we had two we wanted to see at the same time, and we ended up opting for Into the Amazon, which is a National Geographic special. And we should tell you that these three movies we saw will probably show up on PBS somewhere. I noticed they all had PBS logos at the end of it. So they're going to show up on either Point of View, POV, or one of the other shows that runs these a lot. After Into the Amazon, which is at the Visitor Center, I'm not sure what we're seeing Mermaids.
Yeah.
Mermaids is the second one. That's your choice. My third one was the Experimental City. And then we have 20 minutes between the end of that and the beginning of the next one. So we're going to have to skip the Q&A on Experimental City to get to our final film, which is something about Kunst.
It's a band.
It's a band, a punk band in England. You wanted to see that one.
Yeah, I did. I don't know why.
I don't know why either, because I completely passed it over. But I'm willing to go see it. And the band is actually the Sleaford Kunst, isn't it? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But the Experimental City I'm really interested in because of the director. I can't remember who it was, but it's somebody I always look at and say, wow, I want to see this. And it just sounded interesting. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have all kinds of different stuff as we wrap up our 4-day stint in Salem and head back home on Sunday morning, but it's going to be fun. Thank you to everybody and for listening and for everybody we ran into at the festival and great food in Essex and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And for the help over at the Bunghole.
Yep. Which is a liquor store.
And it's the only place in this area you can actually go for soda. I had to walk 2 blocks to get it. And so thank you. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. So. Saturday, March 25th. It is now. What time is it?
10:49.
What have you been out since?
And it's the 24th.
I said 24th.
It's the 25th.
Oh. Okay, sorry. I guess I'm a day. I told you I'm a day ahead all the time.
Yeah.
It's 10:40 in the evening.
10:49.
Okay.
We have had a very long ass day.
Yeah, I got up at a little bit after 6 so I could get all my work done this morning before we went to the shows. We can now say, without equivalent, this was the best Salem we've had because we actually made it to every film we had tickets for.
Yeah.
We usually blew off a couple on previous years.
For weather reasons or just tired reasons or...
We saw
whatever.
4 films today.
Yes, we did.
Oh, God. What was first?
First was the film about the American Experience,
Into the Amazon, which will air on American Experience later this year.
Yes.
I wasn't terribly impressed. You liked it better than I did.
I did, actually.
I was just
really
the guy sitting in the row in front of us was hacking up a lung and sneezing, and it's like when it started, he's like, "Into the Amazon, woo!" I'm like, "Okay, dude."
Okay, great, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope he really wasn't sick. He might have had allergies for all we know, which, I don't know.
Before we went to the movie, we stopped at the PVD Essex Museum gift shop.
Mistake.
Yeah, we got let's see.
We got food.
We got a can of Coco Sante.
Yes.
Which is a cocoa company. The Nor'easter, which is cocoa, vanilla, and malt.
Yep.
They had 3 or 4 different flavors. We thought this sounded really interesting.
That was the only one that didn't have chili in it.
Yeah.
The other ones had chili powder and something else, and we were like, no, thank you.
Kim found some peanut butter eggs.
Yes.
And I got something, what are these called?
Sweet Sloops.
Sweet Sloops, which are... I can't read them.
Which Kim has to read because TC put his glasses away.
Almond butter crunch covered with white chocolate dipped in dark chocolate and pecan spindrift, which is a kind of boat.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to eat all those. I'm sorry.
And Kim's now playing shuffleboard. Apparently she's curling with my candy.
He's going to eat all those and then feel bad about it. And
not right away. They'll last a few days. So
we saw Into the Amazon, which was interesting.
PVD Essex Museum.
At the PVD Essex Museum, which, like I said, I found it fascinating. I've never understood the whole great white hunter thing.
No, Teddy Roosevelt was the great white hunter for America for the longest time.
And I mean, it's a different time period and all that kind of stuff, but I don't get it. I just don't. And then after that, we
crossed over to Cinema Salem.
Walked over to Cinema
Mermaids.
Salem. For Mermaids, yes.
Which I think was probably the best film except for Minding the Gap that we saw.
Yeah. Mermaids is looking at the mermaid culture. And we were
Did anyone else know that there was a mermaid culture?
I kind of did.
Did you?
Well, yeah, I did because I'm into, unicorns and mermaids and fairies and stuff like that. And
those were both her picks.
Yeah. So. And it's mostly women, some men.
They didn't talk to any of the men, though, except they did talk to a trans gentleman who is in the process of becoming a woman.
Becoming a woman and identifies as a woman now, so we should too.
And Joni, I think her name was. I
forgot what it was, too. But she was a very nice person.
It was a very fascinating.
Really cool.
The lady from Harlem was wicked funny.
Yeah.
Her poor husband couldn't get a word in edgewise.
No, but you could tell they loved each other very much.
Well, yeah, they got married after 25 years together because they couldn't get a retirement place in Florida.
They wanted to go to Florida and move into a retirement community there, and they were like, well, you have to be married. And they were like, okay. So I noticed now they're married, but they're still in Harlem.
Well, they were at that time when they were filming.
Yeah, I mean, maybe...
They're probably on a wait list.
Yeah, they're probably on a waiting list.
The Huntington Beach mermaid meetup.
This couple had a mermaid wedding.
Yeah.
And I was like...
It was adorable.
So beautiful. And before you ask, no, I don't want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that either.
I don't want anyone to see me where my guts is exposed. That's not happening.
Well, you can always wear a mermaid costume that comes up at, straps.
You could be a reverse mermaid. You could walk around with a fish head on and legs.
Okay.
I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
It was... I enjoyed that one so much. It was very sweet.
It was very good. I just thought I didn't even know the place in Florida was still open.
No, I didn't either.
What is it?
Wikiwachi
Wikiwachi?
Something like that.
I thought they closed years ago, and they're still open for business.
Yeah.
There's a place in San Francisco called the Dive Bar.
Yeah.
Where they have a pool that goes around the ceiling.
The top of the bar, and
they have mermaids
in there.
It's really, really something.
It's so crazy and so beautiful, After that, we had a little bit of break in between times.
Yeah,
so
we had about an hour break, so we grabbed a quick bite at Essex, New York Deli and Pizza.
Yeah. Before that, we did go shopping over at Silver Moon Comics and Collectibles over in the mall.
Yeah, and you picked up a Filmation book, which means we'll probably end up doing a Filmation show at some point, but okay.
And just to show all you people out there who say I have no self-control, blah, blah, I decided that I would take the bull by the horns after I walked through the whole place and went, damn it. I went up to the counter and I asked the nice lady behind the counter, do you have any merchandise for the show Supernatural? It turned out that they did. They had a folder of all of the season 1 cards. Binder of all the season 1 trading cards, which included an autograph from Jared Padalecki and also included a piece of cloth from one of the shirts he wore as Sam. And they were willing to sell it to me for $250, and they said, well, we'll knock it down to $200 for you. My response was, I would be murdered.
I told her, I said, you have the money if you want to get it, and she said no.
No, I told myself no.
That was self-control, unlike I've ever seen from her when it comes to Supernatural.
I should be nominated for sainthood.
No.
I know, let's not go crazy.
The third film we went to see was at Peabody, Essex again, the wonderful Morris Auditorium, a film called The Experimental City. I was unaware of this, and I thought I keep up on that kind of stuff. This was a prototype idea that hatched in the 1960s. They were going to build an experimental city of the future to try and solve the problems of waste control and all traffic problems. Try and make it was going to be an experimental prototype community that would evolve with time. Well, it got defeated by the time the 1970s rolled around, and the man that was in charge of it, a cartoonist, and he commissioned the cartoons. I doubt that he actually did them. I've forgotten his name. He sounded like Patrick McNee when he was talking.
I've forgotten his name too. I couldn't say it.
Would you agree that he sounded like Patrick McNee when you heard him talk?
Yeah.
It disappoints me that 72 people derailed a project that could have changed the world. I'm very disappointed with these people up there. And they were so smug about it in the movie. That's what really pissed me off. Don't you think they were, especially the one guy, the lawyer was so smug, I just wanted to smack him.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be doing some research on that, because that's a fascinating topic for me. And it would have been something that the idea was to build this city in a dome, 250,000 people, that would be self-sufficient, and it would be at least 10 miles from the nearest city. I think it was in southeast Minnesota, and it's really a shame that it didn't go over, because I would love to have seen what they would have pulled off.
I have to say something about the whole thing that made me a little uncomfortable. Was the whole, it's going to be this number of people. What happens if you have a kid? What happens if you have more than one
meant
kid?
To start with. They didn't mean it wouldn't be changing. They said it would be changing. I guess the closest thing to it would be Epcot now. The idea of it. But it was a fascinating subject, and I'm definitely going to look it up. It was Armenistan. Was that his name?
I forget how you say his name. It's long.
He was a physicist, a meteorologist. I mean, this guy was a genius on every level. And he had like 8 different things he did, and he graduated from MIT in the 30s. And he was, Buckminster Fuller was on the committee for this thing, and a whole bunch of people. It was just a real shame that it didn't go over. After that, that was my only pick from today. Do you want to tell us about the film we ended our time at the festival with?
The film
closed our portion of Salem Film Fest.
Yeah.
It's not festival, it's just Film Fest.
No, the festival itself closes next Thursday.
Huh?
The festival itself
closes next Thursday, but it's actually just the Salem Film Fest. The Salem Film Festival is in Salem, Oregon.
Sorry.
So.
The film we saw last this evening was a film called A Bunch of Coons.
The story of Sleaford Mods.
Yeah.
They're a
punk band. And by band I mean 2 people.
They're kind of an EDM punk, because everything they do is on computer.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
It's not our kind of music, but the story was fascinating, and I actually want to try finding some of the music and see what it's like. And like I said, I'd love to get...
It is so not my kind of music, not for nothing.
I'd love to get a T-shirt of the logo and wear it to work to see if anybody recognized it. I have a feeling one person would know what it was. But they've been so huge in Britain and in Europe the last couple of years. And these are 2 guys in their mid-40s doing this stuff. And they're the darlings of the punk crowd.
Yeah.
Including women.
Yeah, that was
which was freaking both of us out. I'm like, oh my God, there are women in the front and then they know the lyrics.
Yeah, it's like, there's one. Oh no, there's another one. There's another one right there. It's really weird, because you usually think of a punk rock audience and you picture, I picture, white men for the most part.
I mean, they went
of a certain age.
It chronicled their rise for a year and a half or 2 years, and in that time they were doing little tiny clubs with like 10 people in it. By the end of the film,
10
they were
really
playing.
Excited people, but...
Yeah, that one guy in that when they did the little tour, driving. Yeah, it was something else. But when their new album came out, it exploded, and they were able to take a fancy double-decker Silver Eagle type bus around, and they actually played O2 in London, and then the Glastonbury Fair. And I'm like, holy cow!
Yeah,
it was an interesting, very interesting film.
It was very and loud.
Yeah. Several people left. All women, I noticed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, 4 people. They left midway through. I think they just got sick of it. But
they might have.
After that, we decided we were hungry again, so we stopped at the Ye Olde Main Street Pub, which is actually on Essex Street. And it's actually, we've been wanting to try that since we saw it on Phantom Gourmet about a year ago. And I can say that Phantom was dead on the money. Their steak tips were delicious. We had these the seafood sliders, they called them. It was a crab cake with pulled pork on top and some kind of remoulade, and oh my God, those were
really
good.
They were really good.
And she was super nice, and she asked, have you guys been to the film fest? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, we had a really good time.
It was a great time.
So we're now back at the room.
And exhausted. And about to chow down on some candy. What time is it?
11:03.
It's been an interesting weekend.
Yep.
We managed to get really good weather. It was starting to spit snow when we came up.
Yeah.
Little snow. They said we could get an inch or so overnight, and it happened to luck out because we didn't get that storm, and it helped. Well, we did, but it was gone in an hour or two, and the temperatures have been rising, so a lot of the snow has melted, and all in all, I think this has been the best festival we've been to. Like I said, we can say we managed all 8 of the films we'd scheduled ourselves where we actually got to the visitor center for one, which we hadn't been to.
Yep.
And hopefully next year we'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
But right now, I think we're going to call it a night.
Yes.
And talk to you tomorrow. And by the time you hear this in about a week, it'll be the end of the masochistic march stuff. So, alrighty.
Night.
Good night. Hello. We're home. We've actually been home for about 6 hours.
The travelers have returned.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had a great time.
Oh, had a wonderful
Great
time.
breakfast this morning.
Yep.
Before leaving the hotel. And then the cab ride was fairly good too. And they must give a flat rate because there's no way it could be $20 cheaper. Like, because it was $20 cheaper coming home than it was going up. So
yeah.
I don't know.
And the guy that took us was very nice.
And he knew all the shortcuts to get around the lights and everything. And Ken was like, "Where are we going?" I'm like, "He's avoiding the lights and the traffic. Doesn't matter if it adds up; it gets us home faster." So, but it didn't. It was a good thing.
More than anything, we want to say thank you to the Salem Film Fest for a great time,
and the Salem Waterfront Hotel, who are always a great place to stay. And we're just actually getting ready to record the subject cinema that'll go up here in a couple hours, and I've just subjected ourselves to yet another masochistic march movie, so we have one more to do. So it's going to be coming home after seeing great films and watching that.
Yeah.
That was fun. So anyway, you'll get this probably the first week of April, I think, and we'll see what happens. But we had a great time. We hope you had a good time listening. And
if you have a chance, we definitely suggest you take a trip to Salem. If you can't make it for the film fest, just
Salem is good
Salem anyway.
anytime. There's tons of places to visit, including the Witch Museum. There's a whole bunch of stuff related to the witches. House Seven Gables is there.
If you're a history buff, it's great. If you're of an occult frame of mind, or you don't mind taking a walk on the metaphysical side, there's tons of places to look at with that kind of stuff. There's the Peabody Essex Museum,
which we can't really talk about because we've never been all the way through it. We're there for like shows at the festival, but we've only been through part of the venue once when they held Mugshot in that one venue, which was weird.
If you're looking for great places to shop, there's lots of nice little kicky stores that have all kinds of unique stuff.
Nice of what?
Kicky.
Kicky?
Yeah, kicky, unique, special, quirky.
Okay, Abby. Anyway.
They close early, and if you want to find a good place
Yeah, Salem shuts down at about 7 o'clock every night.
Yep.
So.
If you want to find a good place to eat, trust me.
Except during Halloween.
Yeah. You will find something no matter what. If you are a vegan person or if you are a meat and potatoes type of person, you will definitely find stuff in between and on both ends of the spectrum, and it's all good.
Just for the record, Salem during October is crazy. If
Yeah.
you don't want to get caught up in crazy, October is not a good time to visit because it's all Halloween-oriented, eerie events is going on, which is always fun. But yeah, and the rates are jacked up in the hotels and stuff. So definitely, I mean, it is fun. Salem Halloween, we did it 2 years in a row when I was working for Discocky.com.
Talk about the inmates running the asylum.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I mean, they've estimated that anywhere from 800,000 to 1 million people are on the ground in Salem, which has a population of 30-some thousand. So it's crazy.
It gets nuts.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
It is fun. So we'll see you on our regular show, and when you hear this, probably April 6th or so, know that we had fun, and you will prepare you for it the previous week.
Yep.
Until then.
Bye.
Bye. And that was our trip to Salem, Massachusetts and the Salem Film Fest. Thank you to the Salem Waterfront Hotel, all of the wonderful establishments we visited and ate at while we were there. The food at several of the restaurants was utterly fantastic. And we hope that we will be back there again next year. We try to go every year, and it's always a blast. And the people at the Waterfront Hotel are super nice, and the rooms are super cool and very, very nice. Okay, now back to our regularly scheduled stuff. As you know, Subject Cinema is normally on Saturdays. That will return this week. I'm not sure what we're going to have yet, but we should have several movie reviews and a few other things. We'll also be mentioning our Boston Springs the Festival stuff as it continues on. We'll have rundowns from some of the other ones. We're still trying to get to a few of the earlier festivals that we haven't had a chance to cover yet. But mostly, the next couple of months are going to be transition months. Let me tell you what's going on. It's our goal to really expand our sites in the breadth of coverage and stuff over the next few weeks. So in April and May, you'll start to see some regular columns on eCinemaOne.com at least that will, cover a variety of movie topics. Most of our people on PNRNetworks are going to be contributing. I have not yet talked to Eric, but I will be today. Anthony Lamberti from Comic Grotto has agreed to do a column. Kim will be doing a kaiju column. I'll be doing several other columns. And those will all start popping up over the next few weeks on eCinemaOne.com. You will need to visit that site. Also coming for the next 6 weeks on eCinemaOne.com and our relaunched music site, which is my music site actually, the KirkhamReport.com, we will be covering the 2018 Eurovision Song Contest. Now, I became a huge fan of Eurovision when I finally got to see it for the first time when Logo started airing it here in the U.S. in 2016. This year, I've decided to go all out. I've actually applied for official permission from Eurovision to do a few things. But starting this week on eCinemaOne and on the Kirkham Report, you will see a couple of columns a day. They will spotlight all 43 of this year's Eurovision entries. We'll give you information on the song, the songwriters, the performers, the host country of each song. We hope to bring you the official Eurovision music video on each song. And in addition, we'll also be highlighting some of our favorite songs from the past that have won or at least participated in the contest since its beginnings in the 1950s. It's a massive undertaking. I'm doing almost all of it myself. And I hope that you guys will appreciate it and know it. We'll also be doing a few Eurovision-related stuff here on Subject Cinema. And we will be hopefully doing a few new things over on Patreon as well. Now, anyway, that coverage will start in the next couple of days. So please go to eCinemaBoston.com every day. You don't want to, eCinemaOne.com, sorry. Go to eCinemaOne.com every day for coverage of the 2018 Eurovision Song Contest, and go to eCinemaBoston every day for continuing coverage of the Boston Springs Film Festival season. We still have 2 more to go, plus several film series are still ongoing. So it's going to be, and we're in the middle of 2 right now. Boston Turkish and Wicked Queer are going on right now, and we have the Boston International and Independent Film Festival Boston yet to come. Plus, Belmont World Film and the Dockyard continue to run screenings as well, and we're covering those as well. So those are where you want to go for that. You can also go to the KirkhamReport.com starting on April 2nd or 3rd to get the Eurovision thing. You can listen to Subject Cinema practically everywhere on any, just look us up on your favorite service. If we're not there, add us. You can go to our area on the site and show where you can pull up the RSS feed from Libsyn and listen to it wherever you'd like. But we're available on iTunes, SoundCloud, all the usual places. And also on Roku. If you have a Roku, we have a Roku channel. But wherever you listen, we do ask you to subscribe, share, and link up to us. Tell people we're here. Make sure that you hook up for notifications if you're listening on YouTube or one of the others, to know that we have a new show up. If you're on YouTube, click that little bell. We're going to be fancying up the YouTube channel before too long also. And we hope that you will continue to be a supporter. Most importantly, we may be making a change in the summertime. I don't really want to make, but it may have to be done. I can't really talk about it yet. Anthony knows what I'm talking about, but he's the only one. Because we need to get to our levels at Patreon. To cover our expenses, Subject Cinema needs about $600 a month to cover the expenses that we cover now and have money to do other things. I'm in desperate need of a new mixer. As you've heard from the last several weeks, there's been this annoying buzz in the background. I've gotten rid of it the best I can, but it's on all of our shows. And it's not, I don't have the money to get a new, because I want to do it right. I want to get a brand new mixing board that'll let us do phone interviews and a whole bunch of stuff. And those are expensive. They're running $400 to $500. So I can't afford that. We've got to have your help for that. Patreon supports, our Patreon campaign supports everything. If you listen to Subject Cinema, if you listen to Platinum Rose's Garden, if you listen to Comic Grotto, if you were a fan of Manhattan Hammerdown, it supports everything. And also the blogs. So please, please take the time out to find it in your heart to donate at least $2 a month, hopefully more, by going to patreon.com/PNRNetworks and signing up. Our perks are good right now. We're going to be adding some more stuff in the next few weeks. But what we have there is what we're offering right now, and then some of the stuff will get shifted around. But we really do need your support. We've got to make these changes, and we can't do it without your help. So please take the time to donate. Don't forget to check out all of our other shows. Platinum Rose's Garden with Kim is Platinum Rose's Garden every week, talking about the latest episode of Supernatural. Next weekend, she's going to do a double play, which will feature the most recent 2 episodes of the show, including the much-anticipated animated crossover Scooby Natural, which aired this past Thursday. And that's at PlatinumRosesGarden.com. Don't forget that it's not safe for work, and neither is her other show, which is Ring Around the Rosie, her new professional wrestling show. She's been a wrestling fan for 30-plus years, and she's telling lots of great stories, giving you weekly Raw and SmackDown results, and a lot more. If you're a wrestling fan, please check it out at ringaroundtherosie.net. And go right to the site where it's playing. And if you are a wrestling fan, check it out and pass it on to other wrestling fans. And it's not available on iTunes yet, but it is available by going to the website on our Libsyn, and we're getting it expanded slowly throughout the other areas. Cavebabble with Eric and Valerie Lyon at cavebabble.com. Movies, games, odd things to eat, and a lot more. And Comic Grotto with Aunt B and Pee Wee. Comics, TV, and movie based on comics, and more at comicgrotto.com. And don't forget our other shows associated with Subject Cinema. That would be Front Row 5 and 10 on Thursdays, where we do our countdown shows, and our weekly mini shows, 3-Minute Weekend, which gives you the rundown on all the new theatrical releases in the U.S. every Friday, and Tuesday Digidex, all the latest home video releases in the U.S. on Tuesdays, as the title says, Tuesday Digidex. They're both available at eCinemaOne.com. And my own show, Catastrophe Vortex, should be back this week. It may not be on Monday, but it will be back this week with my top dozen episodes of Seconds from Disaster. We will get back into regular movies in a couple of weeks. That's going to wrap it up. I hope you liked the Travelogue show. Drop us a line and let us know what you think of Subject Cinema and all of our other shows. We desperately want to hear from you. It's subjectcinema@PNRNetworks.com. And if you write to us, you may hear your letter on the air. We definitely read what we get, and we hope to include you. For Cam, who's off, not feeling well again this weekend, I'm T.C. Kirkham. We hope you'll listen to Subject Cinema every week. And remember, may your popcorn always be buttered, and may your roses always be in bloom. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Subject Cinema with hosts T.C. Kirkham and Kim Brown. Subject Cinema is produced by PNRNetworks, Boston, Massachusetts, which is solely responsible for its content. Subject Cinema theme performed by Eric Lyon. Subject Cinema is recorded and produced using Sony Vegas products. Subject Cinema is copyright 2017 by PNRNetworks under a Creative Commons license. Check out a new episode of Subject Cinema every weekend. Until next time, this is Bob Taylor for Subject Cinema, and we'll see you at the movies.
That's all.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.